There's another video we did on the for the Siyum. We did a video.
I have to make it like
Where is she?
Yeah.
You'll see the Manchester Arab as well.
After Avram, what's happened to Reb Simcha Shir tonight?
I don't know. I don't go anymore.
I usually look on. I go on in the evening.
We made a video for Eli, Iggy Mechlewitz and Moshe Katz.
Okay, what for the Manchester
Arab?
Wow.
It's become bigger, hasn't it? I think.
No, not really.
One day, I don't know what happened. The Baruch Hashem since then I never had a war. I'm telling you, it was painful. You ready for a shot? I had a war. I couldn't walk. I got nothing else. The Bible told me, you know, in my surgical center.
Testing 1, 2.
I'm done. What? I'm done. I couldn't believe it. Literally, he pushed the button and he was done. I didn't feel a thing. He said he's done. My father's doing it for 34 years. I'm dusting off the table, and the roof is running. No, sir, you can't move. You can't move. We have procedure here in this. What do you mean? I didn't even know he turned off. You're facing the other way, but you don't need
Mazel tov, everybody.
Award on the bottom of my foot. No way.
Was that a big barbecue? Look, before started the.
I turn on that camera. It's gonna be like everybody else.
How did Moshe keep it?
Baruch Hashem. He's trying to keep himself busy. He had corona a few weeks ago.
I heard from Reb Simcha.
Sorry?
I heard from Reb Simcha.
What?
That Moshe wasn't too well.
Mazel tov, everyone.
Want to do a sound test to see if you
Guys.
Also, I actually had to prepare for the Siyum. I'm actually, so I have to apologize. Seriously, I want to do some starter. Also, I do have one chart.
Voice like.
Literally her table.
Good on David. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, I can't hear. Who is that?
Yeah, this is Joey, right?
I'm on. You hear me now? Gary, you hear me? Gary? I'm talking. Yeah, you should hear me now.
Where are you, Bernard?
It's stuck. It's stuck, man.
Are you in Manchester?
Hello, Joey. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, I'm well.
Why? All right. Yeah. Any way you can move that light a little bit, a little. I don't know. It's like right at my face. It's a very, very big delay.
That's a huge delay over there.
Yeah, well, a little better. Yeah. Also, Mordechai, when the questions, somebody's going to be in charge of when the answers come in from people after the raffles. I need the answers so I can read their answers out to everyone.
What could I get if I answer it?
Ellie's going to say the prizes.
And if I
You'll hear. Yeah, why not? Anyone can answer.
Oh,
Yes, so that's why I couldn't afford around 4 o'clock.
uh-huh.
So if we start 1:30, it's 2.5 hours. We should be done,
Right.
right?
I'm sure. Yeah. And then what are you gonna do? Pick up Chinese food for dinner?
Not really. Not really. Today I'm not in the mood. We have a lot of food. I have a lot of food. But then like you be show up because they're not gonna be home and you can't go to any restaurant and it's too cold outside. Darling.
Yeah, unfortunately.
20. What? Yeah, I gotta go. To this song. Hey, how you doing?
Okay, let's start. Straight. Let's start. Let's start.
Avi Factor, where are you?
Hi, Kiri. Hello, nice seeing you.
Sorry?
Yeah, in the meantime, this is it. You can wear the hat now.
How are you? Hi, Mr. Shimon.
Hey, so Khaled. Oh, Shlomo. Welcome. I'll get you a.
Hi, Kiri.
Oh, there I am.
Hi, Sim Khaled, Steve from Gateshead. How you doing? In Borough Park, all three of them were closed. Yeah. Pour a bottle of white and a bottle of yellow. You look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Very nice. Yeah. No, but I have to do also have to put on the Arif too.
You put an Arif? Okay, so open up. We'll send pictures to Yosef. Hold on. Let's put this next to this.
You could tell me stories about people. If you could.
Belly, please. Let's put the show on the road.
Does it go louder, Brian?
Check this. I'm gonna check the audio. Check the audio over there. Okay. Yeah, let me check it.
Yes. They won't hear me if the music's on.
What was that? I'm putting it up. I have the Arif and I have also a Posse Bear Rice. It'll be a little bit hard to do that, but we'll do it. Be creative, you know? How many more Chevra are coming?
They know
That first. Second here. Actually, let me send them.
Well, Donnie!
Oh, I want to see the.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the MDY Siyum on Erevin. Big pleasure for everybody to be here. Fantastic reverb on my voice. Love it. Loving it. Okay, after the incredible Siyum on Masechta Shabbos and the phenomenal Siyum on Masechta Brachos, we pick it up with a great Siyum on Masechta Erevin. A fun-filled evening full of a star cast and stellar cast. Addresses by many people, special songs, Divrei Bracha and stories.
Yeah. Why isn't it bringing up this picture?
You got to turn me on so that they can hear me, okay? All right? Sound people.
Certain places in the world, it's still daytime.
Are we on? Do you hear me?
Audio.
Do
I
you hear
hear
me?
you fine.
Do you hear me?
Noam, where are we sending it to? Where are we sending it?
Do we hear me? Okay. No, still not. Yes? Not you. They need to hear me. I'm talking about them. They need to hear. You need to turn them on so that they hear. There we go. Okay, so as I was saying, we have a very special evening. We're going to be meeting. You're going to meet DAF members, see and learn about different Eruvim around the world, give away prizes, divrei bracha, stories, a Siyum, new song, brand new commercial, incredible evening plan for everybody. We're all so happy that you're here, joining us here in Mabit Shemesh, Park Yarmut, and in all the different locations around the world. So, buckle up. Here we go. The sponsor tonight, Siyum is sponsored anonymously by a very special family that is near and dear to the MDY family, in memory of Ezra ben Frida, Sophie bat Frida, Moshe ben Gilsam, Osher Zelig ben Yechiel Michal, and Avram ben Frida. The Siyum is also sponsored by Rabbi Moshe and Shelley Kamayansky in memory of Avi's grandmother, whose yahrzeit was on Friday. Chaya Bas Moshe. All the neshama she'av an aliyah. Okay, we begin the evening with the Gary. I can't hear myself. What's the story? Thank you. You sound better. Amazing. All right, so just a quick little thing before we begin. Before I introduce Rabbi Eli to start off the first thing tonight. Basically, so I was parking outside where I was teaching this evening in Yerushalayim, and I take my papers out of the car, and I'm about to walk into the building where I'm teaching. And a Gerah Bacher suddenly calls out to me from the sidewalk. He says, he calls my name. I said, yes. He says, I love your books. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I turned to go. He says to me, are you in Eli Stefanski's shir? I said, yeah. He says, I got to tell you, Gerah Bacher, tonight, he's standing outside in the street in the middle of Gula. I'm watching this shir since the summer. Eli, you hear this? Eli, it's Gerah Bacher. Mom, it's the real thing. I watch this shir through Corona. It helped me get through the tough sugyas of Erevin. I don't know this person. I never met him. He recognized me and he started talking to me about your shir, and I take it as a simon, the night of the Siyum. I said I wanted to say his name, but he said, don't say my name. So I'm not saying his name, but he's in the mirror, a Gerah guy. He's in a shir in the mirror. Very good boy. Now, I'd like to introduce Rabbi Eli to come. We're going to do throughout the course of this evening, we are going to be asking questions. We're going to a raffle. The winner, the people who know the answer, go into the raffle of prizes. The prizes are special prizes, all different kinds of prizes, culminating with the $1,000 prize. Rabbi Eli will explain a little more. I'd like to introduce you to Rabbi Eli Stefanski. He's here tonight to tell us the first two raffle questions of the evening.
Should I go in here? Good evening, Rabbi Sai. Bruchim Habayim. Thank you for being here. I am here in Bet Shemesh by Dr. Avi Factor's backyard. And right beneath us, how many people do we have over there? 70, 80 people. Stand up. Oh, one of these. Thank you. The scene will be in a little bit, but as part of the entertainment of tonight, and as we get things organized, we are going to be raffling off I thought this was part of the surprise. Test, Gary. Gary, could you please mute yourself? What are we doing? All right. Should I continue with the raffle? What do we have here? Oh. Yeah. Okay. So while Gary figures things out, the way it's going to work is jot down this number plus. This is where you're supposed to send in your answers to. This is Yeshua Aaron Price's private WhatsApp number that nobody knows about. Plus 972-533-066538. For question number 1. And pretty soon we're going to have a $1,000 raffle ticket to Eretz Yisrael, sponsored by Yossi Klein. What halacha is this picture depicting? We're going light on you guys tonight. Do you guys see it?
Wait, I'm doing it. 1 second.
Okay. Question number 2. When I take this piece of wood and I fold it up and I create a box, what halacha is this? Do you remember this concept? Or you just remember me making arts and crafts boxes? Those are the 2 questions. Send in your answers and you'll win a sticker. An MDY sticker, one of a kind. Nah, maybe you'll even get a baseball cap or a jacket, who knows? All right, Reb Nachman, here you go. What is this?
Okay.
What's this?
That was the introduction of the evening. We now take a little trip across the ocean all the way to the United Kingdom, where a group of people led by their intrepid leader, Rabbi Bernard David, have been together with the DAF almost from the beginning of MDY. They've been supporters. They've been loyal participants. They have given criticism when they felt it was needed, and they've given support throughout. We now turn to the intro, the first Chabura intro video of this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, here tonight, just pretty much gentlemen, ladies on Zoom, take a look at the Manchester Erev video.
take it out from anywhere as quickly as possible. Also, we see from here a vart from the Siyum Jews, Rav Holland. He says when we're learning
Okay, live. Shkoyach to Manchester. A wonderful job as always. We miss you guys. We'd love to see you here in Eretz Yisrael. What a shame we can't be all together at a simcha in a hall. Leganza, mishpacha, biyachad, joining hands and dancing. That would be fantastic. Our next video is by a very special member of the Chabura. And I just, as a way of introduction, I want to tell you a little story about this individual. One day, after Shir was over, I was sitting in the MDY, and we start talking, me and this person. His name is Levi Friedman, and he runs a school in Ramat Beit Shemesh. And we were talking about how the school needs to have money. We were talking about how the school needs money. And we thought, what's a good idea for a fundraising event for the school? And we thought a good idea would be to organize a concert for the school. Who's a good singer to have? None other than Mordechai Shapiro. Mordechai Shapiro would be a good singer to have for the concert. And we decide this is going to be a great way to raise money for the school. Tachinam. Big concert in Kibbutz, right outside Beit Shemesh. Anyway, so we reach out to Mordechai Shapiro and we start negotiating, and we start talking about dates. We start talking about times and prices, and we are, for the next week and a half, we're back and forth trying to figure out how to make this work. And every time we think we're closed on a date, something comes up and it doesn't work out, and then a price issue and a date issue and another date issue. And
my name is Levi Friedman. I'm originally from the
We're experiencing currently technical difficulties in the production. Anyway, so we're finally all set for this concert, and then something else comes up and we decide it's not going to work. It's not happening. And Levi and I are trying to figure out what the message is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're trying to do something, the Shem Shemayim, trying to raise money for Dachinoam, and it's not happening. And then Corona comes. And one day we're looking at each other after Shir, and he says to me, do you know what the day is today? And what was the day? It was the day it was supposed to have a concert. It was supposed to be that night. Nobody would have been able to come. The concert would have been canceled. Thousands of dollars would have been lost. And I said, Levi, you realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you so much. He made sure you did your shtadlis, and Hashem will send the money. But he made sure that you wouldn't have the Agmas Nefesh and lose so much money for a concert that wouldn't happen. This is my introduction for Rabbi Levi Friedman, a man whom HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves so much. So obvious. Here tonight, Rabbi Levi is going to share his message with all of us.
Shalom Aleichem, my name is Levi Friedman. I'm originally from the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I moved with my family to Ramat Beit Shemesh about 16 years ago. About 13. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, my name is Levi Friedman. I'm originally from the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I moved with my family to Ramat Beit Shemesh about 16 years ago. About 13 years ago, I realized that Baruch Hashem, I had this chus to start my own cheder here in Ramat Beit Shemesh. We started with 20 boys in the cheder, and now it's grown to over 200 boys. It's a big chus. It's called Talmud Torah Darchei Noam. We really give the best in both worlds of both Limudei Kodesh and Limudei Chol in a warm, kind, caring, sensitive atmosphere where Midos and Derech Eretz are paramount, and we teach the boys a love for Klal Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. A few years ago, I interacted one time with Eli Stefansky, and I was always a Rebbe in yeshivas, and in the yeshivas we learn Be'iyun and not as much B'kiyas sometimes, and he said, hey, why not join my Daf Yomi Shir? And I said, no, it's you don't retain that much. It's like, Yetzer Hara. That's the Yetzer Hara talking.
The number one thing that I try to convey is love for learning. And I think if you want to have a geschmack in learning, this is the place to be. Torah is fun, Torah is geschmack, it's accessible, and you could do it. We could finish us together.
For me, the Daf Yomi, besides being a family, it gives framework to the day. It starts the day that right away you're getting up and running to the daf. For me, Baruch Hashem, I'm very busy running a school. I'm busy on Hatzalah. I'm busy with a million different things, but I know for me, the daf frames my day. Baruch Hashem, I'm able to start the day with the daf, And if I can, at the end of the day, also chazal the daf.
We have a global chevra. I mean, there's people from every city. There's people from Ramat Shemesh, from Israel, all over the world, and we feel they're all part of it, and we're one giant chabura.
First of all, what's unique about Rav Eli's daf is that it's a family, and it's a real push, meaning that I'm on Hatzalah. So very often I try never to miss the daf, but sometimes I get called out in an emergency medical situation where I am either missing the daf or late to the daf because of I'm on an ambulance somewhere driving someone to Shari Tzedek or Adasa in Karem or saving someone's life, hopefully. And Yoshua will text me, where are you? And I'm driving to Shari Tzedek. So I'll either have my other Hatzalah guy text him back with a selfie of us in the ambulance or a selfie in the Shari Tzedek emergency room. This is where I am. I have a good excuse, Yoshua. Otherwise, I would be at the daf, and hopefully I'll be able to make it up a little bit later.
When I prepare the shiur, I'm thinking to myself, what would I want to hear? What would I want to see? And I know myself, I want to be entertained slightly. I don't want that boring, so to speak, that just more Omar Abayo, Omar Rovens with the seriousness. I want it broken up a little bit, a story, a joke, a picture, something exciting to make it more interesting. So when I'm learning it, I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is something I would like to see. This is something I would have liked to hear maybe. And that's how I prepare the shiur.
So many unique things. I'm an educator, and I know as an educator, experiential learning is the key. You want to see, you want to touch, you want to feel, you want to know. So the charts, having every text come to life with pictures and charts is so vital for us to be able to learn, to be able to grasp, to be able to be excited about learning. You have to see it. We came to Menachos, and he brought in flour and water and oil, and we started making our own Menachos. In Eruvin, he's constantly with the charts and with the graphs and with what this looks like in real life. I think that makes something very real. He comes prepared to every daf. He doesn't just say, oh, here's the daf, oh, that reminds me of something. He's ready to go. The pictures and the charts are prepared before the daf. And then he has every single line in Eruvin is already charted out and mapped out and pictured out so that it comes to life for you. It's very unique. And Yoshua's coffee prepares this amazing coffee, and you're really able to start the day with an experiential daf and a great cup of coffee. It's amazing.
It's one of these shiurim that we have, everyone in Klal Yisrael is invited. And we have Maggid Shiurim. I receive emails from different Maggid Shiurim that they first watch the shiur and then they give it over. We have Rabbanim, we have lecturers, famous lecturers that watch the shiur. And we have everything from Gerim, in the process of Geros, Bali Tshuva, people that are just doing Tshuva, they don't even own Sfarim, to the modern Orthodox and Hasidim.
The daf is a chevra, it's a family, the WhatsApp group, the camaraderie, the mazel tovs, the pictures, the cajoling. If somebody's not there, where were you? We missed you, you're part of it. We wait for the different characters of the daf to add their 2 cents. Each person has a different unique view that he gives towards the daf and unique comments. I would definitely tell anyone who is able to for sure come to the daf. It's an amazing start to your day. It frames your day. It gives you an amazing push to be part of something really, really, really special. It brings the daf to a level for everyone to understand, but also you're able to really go inside after Rav Eli's daf and go into the sugyas more if you want. So it's a great start. It's a great springboard to greater and higher learning. And you really have in our daf from all gamuts of Jewish life. We have different hashkafas. We also have different levels and different backgrounds within Jewish learning. And it really, really unites us. I would tell you that if you want to look for the uniqueness of our daf, is that every daf is exciting and every daf is alive and every daf really becomes something that you can really formulate and see in your head and in your hands and in your eyes, that you could see that this daf is for real. In other words, it could be that for some, you're running through a Gemara, you're having it up, you're shassing it up, it becomes a little bit that perhaps a little boring for some, but Eli's daf is ridiculously exciting from the beginning until the end. I'm getting so much benefit from being part of this daf. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. Thank you, Rabbi Levi Friedman, your friend and mine. We love you, Levi. All right, moving right along to the one and only uncle of the shir. You know, there's so many different people involved, everybody with their role, everybody with their status. And when the Zoom goes on in the morning in the Beis Medrash and the picture comes on, we see a bunch of people every day, and there's smiling on those faces. But some of them we actually know more than the smile that we see on Zoom. Some of them we know because they're constantly contributing to the MDY Mishpacha, and they're always looking for ways to actually give, to contribute. What can I give? What hats can I give? What jackets can I give? What prizes can I give? Uncle Phil is one of those people. Your uncle and my uncle, going from here, from Beit Shemesh to Muncie. We turn to Uncle Phil right now. Here we go. Uncle Phil, you're on.
The Muncie Eruv is one of the largest Eruvim in the United States. The frum community, which started in Muncie and Spring Valley, has grown tremendously, so now the Eruv covers over 24 square miles, is checked every week, and has a large staff of dedicated volunteers and askanim. The Eruv is split into sections, some overlapping. This way, if one area is down, the others are still functional.
We call a lechi, two lechis, right? A lechi on each side, and a kana or a kaira on top of it, and that creates our tzuras of Pesach. So now, instead of being, a closed wall, we have a wall, but it has a huge door, and this is a door, and that's a door, and we have Kanai Nahara, a lot of doors, and that's okay. To note is that the electrical wires on top, these are it's called high tension or electricity wires. Those we do not use when we use our own lechis. We don't, this is high voltage stuff that we don't go close to and we don't touch or deal with. The lower wires that you see passing over here, where you see the lechis going on right up to, these are what's called communication wires. These are the Verizon wires, the AT&T wires, whatever those communication wires, and these are the wires that we are using for our area. The white PVC, right, is our lechi. In order for an Eruv to be kosher, the kana on top has to be directly, 1,000% directly on top of the Eruv. If it is not 1,000% on top of the kaira, that is, on top of the lechi, it is possible. It's called minatzad, and it is not kosher. This is a very exact science, which is why we have over here with us a truck where we'll be able to go up and see how every single kaira that is put up, and this is a tremendous amount of work on behalf of the Eruv, to make it that the kaira is exactly underneath, the lechi that is exactly underneath the kaira on top. There's this black rubber that they specifically put in order that the lechi itself should be directly underneath the wire. So this is a very exacting science, so to speak, where somebody has to come out here and cut a piece of rubber in order to put it in, and as you move down the pole, They also have another spacer down there where it's not completely flush against the pole. There's a little piece of black rubber, and basically what this does is it allows the lechi to go directly underneath the wire, because again, otherwise it would be minatzad, and that would be a problem. Having the spacer allows us to put the kaira on top directly over the lechi. So here you see something very interesting. This is the old Eruv, the Pomona Eruv. This over here is the Havastra Eruv. Okay, these black ones over here is a genius, whoever figured this out. Said, why are we putting this thing, white things that stand out from a mile away? And maybe a drop easier to check. It's not really, because once you know what you're looking for, you know what you're looking for. But any guy that's walking by doesn't chop, this just looks like a regular electricity part of the electric pole. There's wires inside. It's unclear what it is, but it's much clearer. Take a look. You see there's a little piece of rubber, and then a bigger piece of rubber, and then a bigger piece of rubber, and it's separating the lechi from the actual pole. Why is that? We want the lechi to be directly underneath the wire. The lechi has to be within 3 tefachim of the ground. It's got to be. That one's not good. So this one is within 3 tefachim. But 3 tefachim is. This one's a little.
Didn't see you there. Just reviewing some laws of Erevin. Almost done with it, not a big deal. So I'm sort of the local community expert in all things Erevin. You know what I'm talking about. Like koras, lechis, gurachis, gurasik. I'm sure you know about this stuff. So actually, I want to teach you a couple things. Let me show you my layer I put together. So this, honey, where's the Erev? I'm gonna open it up. No, it's not here. Who took the Erev from the cookie jar? Me. It was you? No. It wasn't you? Are you sure? No. Who, me? Maybe. Oh, let's go see. Did you take the Erev from the cookie jar? No. No? No. Are you sure? No. Okay. Are you sure? Maybe it was Vivi. Did Vivi take the Erev? Let's go find out. Did you take the Erev? What is this? Couple things to review. 1, always make sure your Erev is in a secure location. And number 2, whoa! Don't be an Amoritz and forget to cook your Erev. This has been an Uncle Phil production, sponsored by Green Star Electrical Catering and Fisher Electrical Contracting. We hope you enjoyed Mazel Tov.
Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, it's so much fun. This is great. How are you all doing down there? I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. There's Rabbi Fold all the way from wherever you live. Where do you live? Karne Shamron, near Emmanuel, near Ginat Shamron, all the way in that neck of the woods, near Kfar Sava. Unbelievable. What a guest. Thank you for joining us. What is the chus? Okay. I would like to welcome many other people who've joined us tonight. Really, this is unbelievable. And a big thank you to the tech team who have to deal with really a very hard set of circumstances. And they are doing a wonderful job. Nobody you don't understand. You don't realize what's going on over here. Great tech team. Gary, I don't know who you are over there. Chaim Snow, thank you for joining us, and everybody else. Okay, moving right along. All the way to Lawrence, New York, we have a video with the one and only Dr. Ben Schwartz, who not only does the daf, but takes time out of his busy day. His wife makes sure to block off time every day for him to do the daf. He's an example for thousands of people who look at him as the classic example of a balabas, who's not just a balabas, but he's a balabas whose focus is learning. And now over to you, Dr. Ben Schwartz, Lawrence, New York.
Hi, my name is Siyum Schwartz, and I live in the Five Towns in New York. And I'm married to my most wonderful wife, and we have, Baruch Hashem, Leon Hara, 5 amazing kids. And during the day, I practice as a full-time dentist. I didn't have a chavrusa. I didn't have a regular shir I went to. If I would hear a shir on Shabbos or hear a Friday night Devar Torah, I sort of counted that as my learning. I learn Gemara every single day. I'm actually every single day kovei itim l'Torah, which a year ago, if you would have told me that, I would have said it's impossible, I'm never gonna do that. I got involved with Merkaz Daf Yomi because I attended the Siyum Hashas Live in MetLife Stadium in the beginning of this year. I was there because my father actually was one of the Malamdim, and I was so proud of him that he actually spent time every single day for over 7 years. So I wanted to partake in that and be part of that also, but I didn't know how. One day I found an ad for Eli Shir, and I remember it was a YouTube video. It wasn't live at the time when I was watching it, and even though it was just through a computer screen, I felt like, wow, this is that Rebbe I've been looking for so many years, and it talked to me, it spoke to me, and I haven't looked back ever since. My wife actually blocked out my office schedule that from 2 to 3 o'clock every single day. I don't have any patient schedule. The staff knows not to bother me. And I sit there and I do the Daf Yomi. It's an amazing experience. It uplifts the whole entire day. And so much so that when I get home, my kids always ask me, hey, Ta, did you do Daf Yomi today? What did Rebbe say? Rebbe goes out of his way. He makes the diagrams, he makes the pictures, he enhances them, he makes them funny. But when he does the arts and crafts, when he does the hands-on, I think that's the best. When he spends the time to actually put together a box, or like he stands and to show you how to pick something up without leaving a box.
I'm a kohen. I'm in a box. Hold on a second.
What's unique about Merkaz Daf Yomi, I think, are 2 separate things. The first thing is obviously our Maggid Shir, Rabbi Eli Stefanski. His enthusiasm, devotion, dedication, his love, his excitement when he gives over Daf Yomi, it's unparalleled. Even though it's through a computer screen most of the time, it's palpable. You can feel his love for learning Daf Yomi and giving over the Gemara. He does it with a smile on his face. In a good way, it's contagious and infectious. It's impossible not to want to be a part of that. And I think the second thing that makes the Daf Yomi Shir so special is that it's a worldwide, global family. We have the Zoom, we have WhatsApp, we have our own newsletter, and that, if somebody's not there for a few days, people reach out, hey, I haven't seen you, are you okay, how are you doing? Everybody is an integral part of Daf Yomi Shir, and you feel like you have a place and you belong there. And I don't think you're gonna get that in any other Daf Yomi Shir. And so much so that our special MDY Shir has its own chesed fund, where we help out people. It's amazing that if somebody needs something, it doesn't matter if it's a pair of tefillin, if somebody needs financial help, people step up and help out quickly without any questions at all. You could be Litvish, you could be Yeshivish, you could be Hasidish. Everybody joins together around the Daf Yomi, around Reb Eli, and it makes it such a wonderful family, and I'm so glad and happy that I'm a part of it. I think the best way to recruit somebody to the Merkaz Daf Yomi family is to just come and join and watch a live shir. Just watch it once, you'll be hooked for life. That's all you need.
Okay. Thank you, Ben Schwartz. You're an inspiration, not only to us. There's so many people out there, Klal Yisrael, are professionals, are the challenge of finding that perfect balance between learning and working. Baruch Hashem, you are an example. Keep up the good work. And now, invite Reb Eli back here to ask the second set of raffle questions of the evening. Remember, if you know the answer, reach out to the WhatsApp number, Rabbi Yeshua. You probably never got that number before. You don't know that Yeshua has WhatsApp, but now you know, and reach out to that number to give the answer. All right, Rabbi Eli, the second two raffle questions.
All right. We very much apologize for the technical difficulties. You know, last Siyum went off almost without a hitch in our base medrash. But we wanted to be part of the Olam here, out in the street. The whole Chaver from Ramat Bet Shemesh is here. Not the whole. We have Nachum Horowitz doing a Siyum, a couple of Northern Cats, sorry. But there's a big, big Olam here. We even have a Victor Fold that came from who knows where, from Karnei Shomron. We have the whole Olam. So we are happy that we're here with all the technical difficulties, but I want to raffle off a $1,000 prize that is sponsored by Yossi Klein from Superior Plumbing in Monsey, a very big supporter of the DAF, the Paras HaChodesh. And while I'm doing this, I want to mention that this question is featured in the brand new song worked on by David Address for 4 full months. Worked on this. This is an animation song. And in the song, you're going to see this depiction. The question is for $1,000. And by the way, we had 50 responders on the other questions. One of them is Yisrael Goldstein, one of the first ones. Rabbi Isai, for the $1,000. Shrip Teretz Yisrael. What does this picture mean to you? A bunch of cheaters in Ramat Bet Shemesh. It's a $1,000 question. All right. Without further ado, should we do one more question or should we do the song? What do you want to do, Gary? Do the song, because it has to do with this question. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Some of you may remember the last Siyum, David Address did a fantastic song, and now he's following it up. Though it's hard to believe that he could top last time's incredible song, he's going to show us how he topped it. Here we go, David Address.
He's a yeshiva guy from New York who moved down to Chicago. He learned in Darchei Panovich, Chaim, Berlin, and Mir. He lives now in RBS with his wife, kids whom Hashem should bless. And let's not forget how he started Prime Quest. He's a jack of all trades, from catering, construction to real estate. He's a chart maker and adventurer that can fly planes in the USA, skydive over Long Island into the dive. He won't be late. Tell us, where in the world do you do dive? He teaches dive around the world, from Israel to Australia. Make catch of skydiving and parachuting to Venezuela. He'll take you for an adventure in the jungles of Zimbabwe. Tell us, where in the world do you do dive? He'll slide down the slopes on his board, ride the waves of the Caribbean Sea. But let's not forget the support team, who is also key. Tell us, where in the world do you do dive? Gary manages everything, including projects, building, and the tech. Avi Kamiyaski, CFO, when it's time to write or cash that check. Mordechai directs the charts and places. Timmy S. Seltzer, YouTube and cameraman. Reuven Shea produces. everyone knows. He holds it all together wherever Ellie goes. But did ya, Kramer is his cover saw. He learns with Ellie to find the answer. I'll fix Mata and Yossi Rudinsky, feeling as Makashir when they can. As if Billy keeps it all on track. Make sure the videos are out back to back. Tell us where in the world do you do dive? All in all, he's got the perfect team to cross the world on a dive stream. He's the best Makashir of them all. He cares for all, big and small. So next time you see Rabbi Eli Stefanski, make sure you ask him. Tell us where in the world do you do dive?
It's a big hit.
Wow. And we thought he wouldn't be able to beat last times. But oh my gosh, tell us where you do the daf. It already went viral with 8 million hits on YouTube. Tell us where you do the daf is the next hot thing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Moving right along. It's easy for a person to be respected and everyone around the world is impressed by them because they don't know them. So they look at them on the screen or they read about them in the paper and they're very impressed. It's more challenging and more difficult for a person's family or neighborhood to respect them. That's the kunst. And if a person's close family look up to them, respect them, even though they know the truth about them, then you know the person's really chashuv. So now for our next little video, we turn to the one and only FIL, Ellie's father-in-law, who has graciously consented to join us tonight from Chicago. And Ellie's father-in-law, besides for being a world-renowned surgeon and a businessman, an investor, and a real estate owner, and a really incredible Shabbos cook person who puts unbelievable food on his table, and an amazing, just overall wine connoisseur, the fact is that his father-in-law is also a Maggid Shir of Daf Yomi. And he taught Ellie everything he knows. See, Ellie, he does charts. Not true. And it says, I saw Mefurish and Guy Videlio brought down that about when you do charts. How do you know about charts? Charts come from Ellie Shver, from Ellie's FIL. And Ellie's FIL has graciously consented to tell us about a special relationship. Okay, without further ado, that small, here we go.
To participate in this event. And I was allowed to say a few words as long as I try to keep it short, and I was asked not to talk about Ellie, but as his shver, I have to say a few words, and I'll try to keep it to the point. We're making a Siyum on Erevin. Erevin is about boundaries, about limits. So what can I say with respect to the Shir and to Erevin? I can say that it's about no limits. This Shir and Rebelli is about you can do it, that there are no limits, and that we can do what we set out our minds to do. So many people, of course, have thought about Daf Yomi, have tried Daf Yomi, but there's always excuses. I can't take the time, I can't do it every day, I don't have the background, I can't sit to and listen to a shir, I'm not shir quality, I don't have the patience, I have ADD, many, many reasons. But this shir is about I can do it. And the I can do it attitude, of course, comes from Rebelli. Where did it start? Well, maybe it started when he was a small child. Now, I wasn't there, but I heard a story that when he was a child and he went to visit the Ribnitzer Rebbe, and those of you who've heard of him, he was an amazing Baal Mofis. I myself have seen tremendous, unbelievable Mofsim from the Ribnitzer Rebbe. But apparently, something about this Meshuggah child running around, probably breaking everything, the Ribnitzer Rebbe decided that Ellie, when he was a child, was going to be a gadol. And maybe he took it seriously and he decided, I can do it. So he went through life with that attitude, I can do it. And that attitude means that he can make everybody else do it. And he didn't always start with Daf Yomi or Shir. He started with the idea of coming to help me in the office. He'd come to the office. I had one patient who drove me nuts, a crazy Michiganer that would come every other day, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, with ear pain, throat pain, nose pain. And every time she would come, I would examine her and tell her there's nothing wrong. She would come back and she'd come back. One day, Ellie was in the office and he took her to the back room. He examined her and a whole story, and she came back and said, the doctor found a deep ear infection. And from that time on, she was fine. She just, whatever treatment he gave her apparently worked. So he decided, well, he can do it. So now that he was so successful in the office, he decided to come to the operating room. Well, he comes to the operating room, and I was already scrubbed in surgery, and he comes in, supposedly a visiting professor, and he comes in, and of course he forgets to put a mask on. So now he's coming into the OR as a visiting professor and no mask. And the nurse says, if you're a visiting professor, where's your mask? So he says, we don't wear masks in my medical school. And then she says, what medical school are you from? And he says, Panovich. And she says, where is that? And he says, New Jersey. In New Jersey, we don't wear masks. So she says, I don't know about New Jersey, but here we wear masks. So he puts on a mask and he starts watching the surgery. And I'm teaching one of the residents, and I'm saying, this is a tiny nerve, but it's crucial because it moves the lower face, and we have to identify it in this area and move it up this way. And he butts in and says, in my experience, we do it differently. And the student and the residents are all listening to his ideas of how to protect this nerve. And then the case continues. For some reason, he's watching the monitor, and it was a very temporary, but the monitor goes flat line on the cardiogram of the patient. Now it happens that this was a temporary situation anyway, but it happens that he saw it before the anesthesiologist saw it. And he points it out to the anesthesiologist. The anesthesiologist makes some changes and everything's fine. But for the rest of, certainly the rest of that day, the rest of that year, maybe the rest of our lives, we all hear about how Ellie saved the life of this patient. But his career in medicine didn't last, and he decided to go into real estate. Well, his decision in real estate was the same. I can do it. He started with a relatively small deal, but within months he was making a major deals. And within less than a year, he's invited to speak to one of the richest families in America. When they have their family meeting to discuss business opportunity, he's the guest speaker. Why? Because he decided, I can do it. Finally, he made this decision that I can do it, and I can learn all day, I can give a shiur all day, and I can teach thousands of people that they can do it. So this continued to the point of creating the 8-minute daf, the shiur that we have today. As I'm sitting here thinking about the OR days, I remember that he helped me. I was also had this idea that I made a movie teaching people how to do frontal sinus surgery. And the point of the movie was that it was considered very difficult surgery in those days, and very few people really knew how to do it. But my point of my movie was that you can do it, that It can be done. It's not that difficult. And with the help of Reb Eli, we decided to make a movie where we had a gorilla come into the operating room and act like he was performing the movie. Of course, the gorilla volunteer was Ellie, who came into the operating room, and we filmed this whole scene of a gorilla doing this surgery. So that theme of I Can Do It continued. It came to the point here that we have this special program, a shiurim every day, the 8-minute daf every day, and it is unique for many ways. But it's that combination of hours and hours of work every day, hasmada, combined with this unique style of creating charts, graphs, graphics, and presenting it with a very clear mind and a clear presentation, all combined with a charisma and a talent for entertaining, a sense of humor, something that makes the shiur much more than a dry shiur, but something that everybody wants to be part of. And it is this combination that creates that I can do it attitude that is so pervasive to, I think, everybody that listens to the shiur. Now, I just want to add one thing, that this I can do it attitude, I think, only works when Reb Eli has a wife to support that continuous attention to the shiur, to learning, to being busy, literally 20 hours a day. So Eli's wife, Fagi, who is my daughter, who is a true tzaddikus, who is there every part of the way to accept whatever it takes to accomplish this I can do it attitude in every way. And I just would like to say that I wish them continued hatzlacha with everything and continued growth of the shiur, and a mazel tov to everybody that was Messiah, everybody that will be Messiah in the future, everybody who's part of the shiur and part of Daf Yomi program. I just want to conclude by saying that with the help of YouTube, Zoom, and the ability to be Marbitz Torah through all these electronic methods, combined with the talent that Reb Eli has, I truly believe that the words of the Rebbe's Rebbe will come true, and that Reb Eli has the potential to influence and to be Marbitz Torah to more people than anybody else in the past who never had the benefit of digital and virtual shiurim throughout the world. Continued hatzlacha always.
Thank you so much to Dr. Eli Shver from Chicago, Michael Friedman, the one and only. As I said before, taught Eli everything he knew. Really. Eli, without your Shver, where would you be? I don't know. Okay. Moving right along. So we have a keynote speech. But before we introduce the keynote speaker everyone knows, I just want to tell you a little story. So I was in London. I was staying by the keynote speaker's brother, of David, in London. And he told me a story about their father. Now, their father was in Auschwitz, and he was a bacher in Auschwitz, and he saw a very chashuva-looking yid in a nearby barrack. And he wanted to be with this yid so they could learn Torah with him. And he asked, he somehow was masader that he was able to switch barracks to stay next to the Kloisenberger Rebbe. And so Reb Osher Weiss's father became very close to the Kloisenberger Rebbe during the time in Auschwitz. And he said he saw the Rebbe wasn't eating anything, wasn't drinking anything, and he wasn't even drinking the coffee that came out of the kitchen. And he said to the Rebbe, you have to drink. If you're not going to drink, how are you going to have any koyach? What's going to be with you? You're going to die. And the Rebbe said, I can't. It's treif. Who knows what they do? Maybe they mix up the pots. So Rav Asher's father, Rav David's father, he said, I'm going to go to the kitchen, I'm going to put my life in danger, and I am going to make sure, I'm going to find out that, I'm sure the coffee has its own pots. Auschwitz is a huge kitchen, and I'm sure the coffee has its own pots. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell the Rebbe. And he walks out of the barrack, and he pretends to go to the kitchen in Auschwitz. It was life and death to go to the kitchen, and he wasn't really going to go, but he pretends to go. And he comes back to the barrack, and he tells the Rebbe, I checked, and you can be soymich, there's separate pots for coffee and separate pots for food. And the Rebbe drank the coffee in Auschwitz. A while later, they moved the Klausenberger Rebbe, Reb Asher Weiss's father, to a different place, to the Warsaw Ghetto. And over there, once again, the Rebbe refused to drink any coffee. And Reb Asher's father said to him, Rebbe, if you don't drink the coffee, you're going to die. You're not going to have any koyach. And he said, I can't do it. I don't trust the kashrus. So he said the same thing he said to the Rebbe in Auschwitz. I'm going to go to the kitchen, and I'm going to find out. I'll find out about the coffee. I'll find out about the kashrus. Noam Fix just made a joke. It was a joke. I can't even start telling. It's too long to get into it. Okay, besides. Okay. Anyway, so he leaves the barrack and he goes to the kitchen and he comes back and he tells the Rebbe, I looked into it. The Rebbe said, it doesn't matter. I'm not drinking the coffee. He said, why? Why can't you drink the coffee? I looked into it, which he didn't really look into it. But I looked into it. The Rebbe said, even so, I'm not drinking the coffee. He said, Rebbe, you have to drink it. The Rebbe Kleisberger said, there's nothing to talk about. I'm not drinking the coffee. I want you to tell me why. So the Rebbe said to him, I'll tell you why. You're not going to like it, though. He said, even so, tell me why. She said, I'll tell you. In Auschwitz, I made a cheshbon. It's a big kitchen. And in that kitchen, for sure, there are different pots. So when you came back to me and you said that you looked into it, I believed you. Because I made the cheshbon myself. That's got to be special pots for coffee and special pots for everything else. But over here in the Warsaw Ghetto, it's a makeshift kitchen. There's no way there's big pots. You're telling me that you looked into it? How can I be samech on you, he said. You've been drinking coffee in Auschwitz. So Yecheskas kashrus is gone. I can't be samech on you. That was the godless, the brilliance of the Klausenberger Rebbe, who knew without knowing what he could drink and what he couldn't drink. Rav Asher Weiss's father and the Klausenberger Rebbe stayed close, mamish yedidim, except the Rebbe was the Rebbe, but for life. Their whole life they were close. And Rabbi Asher Weiss's father was zeiche to many, many sons. And every one of them is a special Talmud Chacham, Marbitz Torah, Choshev Rabbanim all over the world. So now I turn to the keynote speaker of the night for Divrei Bracha, Rabbi Asher Weiss.
So I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate, to be mishtatef in this wonderful event of Siyum Mesechet Eruvin in the outstanding Shir Ramat Bet Shemesh, the Shir of Rebbe Stefansky. Every Siyum Mesechet is an unbelievable simcha. And we all remember Shabbos Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis. We learned it in Daf Yomi not long ago. Omer Abaye Teisili. Abaye says, when I see a young Talmud Chacham that finishes a Masechta, I throw a feast and I make a Yom Tov. So this just proves and teaches us how big the Simcha is. But I want to share with you a thought. The very same Abaye, in Eruvin Samech Esamid Beis, we recently learned that one. Doesn't go back many months to Shabbos Kuf Yud Ches. Eruvin Samech Amud Aleph. Rabbi Barav Chonan asks Abaye, how is it possible? Our Mavoi, our courtyard, we have two great people, I and you, and we have neither Eruv Chatzeres nor Shitufim Avoyis. How could this be? It's unreasonable. And Abaye explains, I'll tell you how. You are too mechubed. Rabbi was very respected. So you're not going to go around collecting bread from the neighbors. I don't have time, and I can't afford to set aside my bread to have a kazayas for each neighbor. So Abaye couldn't afford to set aside a piece of bread for Erev Chatzeres and Shitufim Avoyis, which are mitzvahs derabanan. But when a young boy made a Siyum Masechta, he could afford it, because that is more important, obviously more important than Erev Chatzeres and Shitufim Avoyis. Just comes to give us the appreciation how important a Siyum is. And Abaye is dealing with one young Talmid Chochem, Messiah, one Masechet. Kal v'chomer, when we're dealing with many, Kal v'chomer ben beno shel Kal v'chomer, when we're dealing with Masechet Erev, in one of the more complicated Masechtas in Shas. So your wonderful shir has always been a great shir. Kol be'asor hashchin tesharia, 10 people get together, they're zeichet shchina. Even 3 people sitting together have a certain level of shchina, and they say berchas hazimun. Many daf yomi shiurim are somewhere between 3 people, 10 people is a very mechubedik shir. I know that the shir I am addressing is massive. I was told we have about 100 people in Beit Shemesh. But in this crazy period of the coronavirus, this shir has become huge. I know people from Chutz La'aretz that won't miss a shir. You have hundreds of participants, maybe thousands of participants. So this is an unbelievable schus. Enjoy every moment of learning. You're part of a great endeavor. Talmud Torah Derabim. Every siyum is precious. Eruvin especially. And every siyum is a new opportunity to start anew. So Simchas Torah is all about the siyum. We rejoice because we're Messiah the Torah. But we also have Chosim Bereshis, and there's a big discussion. Which of the 2 Chasanim is the more important one? I wrote, Chosim Bereshis, the Simcha of a Siyum, is a Simcha because we have the opportunity to start anew. And every time I am Messiah Shas, I really feel. So this time we'll do it better. More be'iyun, more basmoda. So my bracha to you. I hope the shir will grow, beginning Masechet Pesachim. And I wish the Magid Shiur and all the participants. You should be Zoiche, Kishem Shesiyanta Masechet Eruvin Kein Tiskol Asayim, Masechtos V'Svorim Acherem, Lilmoid Elamid Lishmoid Banases. We should have many siyums to come. V'Nizkeh Kulanu, Lahagdel Torah Ulahadira, Ulakadosh Shem Shemayim. Mazel Tov to all of you.
You know, before we get to the Siyum, this is the highlight of the evening. Just a shout out to a few people. A special shalom to my old friend Avrami in Borough Park. Haven't said good morning Avrami in a while, so good morning Avrami. You know, there's so many people with talent and with skills in the shir. For example, if anyone out there wants to put out a sefer, wants to produce a book, you can go to Reb Doron Kornbluth, the babysitter of Mando. He runs the publishing house. Be in touch with him. You'll be surprised. Unbelievable results. I'm just saying, there's tour guides. Moshe Hamburg celebrated the engagement of his daughter. If you want to have a good tour around Eretz Yisrael, you turn to Reb Moshe. Your daughter near the seminary? No, fix. Torah Devora. There's so many amazing things going on part of this year. But that's just in Eretz Yisrael, all over the world. Every member of this year is so special, so unique, with so many talents. Incredible. And now we turn to the highlight of the evening. Rabbi Eli is going to be Messiah together with the sponsor. We all know Joey Levy. And now tonight it's his brother, Moe Levy. So Moe Levy, together with Eli, are going to be Messiah Masechta Erevin. Okay? All right, we're about to begin. Everybody open your Gemaras for the final words of Masechta Erevin. Where do you do your daf?
What? At the Hadron.
Eli's doing the Siyum, Moe's doing the Hadron.
Hold on a second. Sound? Before we do the Siyum, I just want to say a few thank yous. A few Akars Atayv. I'm not going to be speaking tonight, but I need to thank the people that make this happen. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Fegi. Without her, I wouldn't be here. I need to thank my partner, Benzi Friedman, another person that without him, I wouldn't be here tonight. Yedidya Kramer, my chavrusa, without him, I would not be here tonight. I want to thank especially Shkoyach and Hassan Gans from Ami Magazine, who's working tirelessly the last few days to bring more people to the shir, to be mizaka more people with Torah. I want to thank Gershon Ben Moshe for all his hard work behind the scenes, Nachman Seltzer for emceeing tonight, Noam Fix for running the Siyum behind the scenes, Avi Kamayansky, you saw him in the video, he's the CFO. Special thanks to Chaim Snow. You see these beautiful videos produced of Ben Schwartz, and you're going to see Yisrael Goldstein, Ruvain Chait. You saw Levi Friedman. Who else, Chaim? A little bit on Dr. Freeman. So Yishkoyach for all the hard work. Poischim B'chvayda Sechsanya, or in the middle, not Poischim, Avi Factor, Dr. Avi Factor Yishkoyach. Without Yeshua Aaron Price, we wouldn't be here tonight. So Yishkoyach Yeshua. Special thanks to Ruvain Chait for producing the 8-minute video. Yishkoyach Yosef Bilyak for all your hard work behind the scenes, sending out the videos, uploading the videos. We are now uploading to all DAF, the regular shir. We're on Kol Shon, on Torah Anytime, all those things. It's Yosef Bilyak. The app. Don't forget the app. He uploads to the app. The classics. Yishkoyach. Nehemiah Seltzer, Mordechai Seltzer, subtitles, all the other stuff that they've been doing behind the scenes. A tremendous Yishkoyach. It was a big hit. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a hit. It was a big hit. David addresses song. Yishkoyach, Dailam really enjoyed it. Where do you do the daf? You got to go like this. A big Yishar Koyach to our anonymous sponsor, although it was given away. I hope you don't remember the name. It's anonymous. We'll call him Uncle Joey and his brother Moe and the nephews, all the nephews. But it's supposed to be anonymous. But Nachman is a big Talmud of exposing the anonymous people. Sorry. Shkoyach to Mr. Kamiansky for sponsoring tonight, being one of the sponsors. And all those people, I just saw a gorgeous picture of a hall in New York where there's many people sitting around the screen watching the shir. There's places like that in Muncie, in Baltimore, where else? All around the world. Where? Chicago? South Africa, the kids are everywhere. So you should call to everybody for participating. And finally, every single one of you, without you, I wouldn't be here. You give me the koyach, give me the push, give me the encouragement. So I really appreciate it. We're holding Daf Kuf Hey Amid Aleph all the way in the bottom. 3 lines from the end. By the way, I just want to show you, I'm also making a Siyum on 600 plus charts. So here we go. The last Mishnah in our Masechta ends off with 2 riddles. Really hard to understand what the Mishnah is talking about. First it says, Reb Shimon Oimer, Makom shetir l'cha chachamim, in a place that chachamim gave you a heter, b'shalcha nasu l'cha. What is going on? Okay, that we explained yesterday, or this morning. And then it says, Shelo yitir l'cha ela mishum shvus. It's literally a riddle. Says the Gemara, Heicha kai. What is this Mishnah talking about? Hasam kai. It's part of the riddle. Heicha kai, hasam kai. We learned about the violin or the harp, one of the instruments in the Beis Hamikdash that the cord snaps. Kaishra. According to the Tanakama, you can make a nice knot, put it back together again. And then Reb Shimon comes, Oinva. Don't tie it, make a bow. Since you're not going to come to a Isser D'Oraisa, so Rabbanon allowed it. Shira, but to make a real knot, so very interesting, very rare that there would be a line in a Mishnah that has nothing to do with what we were talking about beforehand, about a sheretz that's found in the Beis Hamikdash. It goes back to another Mishnah, but that's how Gemara works. Makes you think, makes you contemplate, makes it very interesting. And from here, Moe, please take over.
Hadran alach masechet eruvin v'hadrach alan. Da'atan alach masechet eruvin v'da'atach alan. La nitneshem minach masechet eruvin v'la titneshem minan la da'ama haden v'la da'ama da'ateh. Hadran alach masechet eruvin v'hadrach alan. Da'atan alach masechet eruvin v'da'atach alan. La nitneshem minach masechet eruvin v'la titneshem minan la da'ama haden v'la da'ama da'ateh. Hadran alach masechet eruvin v'hadrach alan. Da'atan alach masechet eruvin v'da'atach alan. La nitneshem minach masechet eruvin v'la titneshem minan la da'ama aden v'la da'ama da'ateh. Yehi ratzon melefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'lehei avotenu shetehei toratecha u'manutenu ba'olam hazeh u'tehei imanu la'olam haba. Chanina bar papa, Rami bar papa, Nachman bar papa, Achai bar papa, Abba Mari bar papa, נפרם בר פפא, נחיש בר פפא, סוחה בר פפא, עדה בר פפא, דרו בר פפא. הערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ופיות עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה כולנו, אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי צאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה, מאוהביך כמני, מצוותיך כי לעולם היא לי, יהי ליבי תמים בחוקיך למען לא אבוש, לעולם לא אשכח פיקודיך כי בם חייתני, ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקיך, אמן 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 צלע ועד. מודים אנחנו לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, ששמת חלקנו מיושבי בית המדרש, ולא שמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות, שאנו משכימים והם משכימים, אנו משכימים לדברי תורה והם משכימים לדברים בטלים, אנו עמלים והם עמלים, אנו עמלים ומקבלים שכר והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר, אנו רצים והם רצים, אנו רצים לחיי העולם הבא והם רצים לבאר שחת, שנאמר ואתה אלוהים תורידם לבאר שחת, אנשי דמים ומרמה לא יחצו ימיהם ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהי, כשם שעזרתנו לסיים מסכת עירובין, כן תעזרנו להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים לסיימם, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים והתלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי ולזרעי, שלא תמוש התורה מפי ומפי זרעי וזרע זרעי עד עולם, ותתקיים בי, בהתהלכך תנחה אותך, ושוכבך תשמור עליך, והקיצות ההיא תשיחך, כי בי ירבו ימיך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים. אורך ימים במינה, בשמאלה עושר וכבוד, אדוני עוז עמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. יתגדל ויתקדש שמך רבה, אמן. ועלמא דיברה קרעותה, וימליך מלכותה, ויצמח ותקנא ויקרב משיחה, אמן. וחי יכול, וביום יכול, וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. אמן. יהי שמך רבה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמך בקודשה בריחו, נעלה מכל ברכתה שירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמרם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידהון ועל כל תלמידי הון דעסקים באורייתא קדישתא, די באתרא הדם ודי בכל אתר ואתר, יהא לנו ולהון נכון חמנה וחסד ורחמים מן קודם הרי שמיה והרעה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלום רבה מן שמיה חיים ושבע ושבועה ונחמה ושזבה ורפואה וגאולה וסליחה וכפרה, לנו כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו וברחמיו יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Simdai vo mazel tov ye lanu simdai vo mazel tov simdai vo mazel tov simdai vo mazel tov ye. Should we make a little record?
Last time we got in trouble.
No, right here, right here.
Last time we got in trouble.
Oh, there we go like this.
Sichasi, mo avdi zeyasecha, kol hayoim sichasi.
Sheichem, 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 Talmidei Chacham. Sheichem, 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 Talmidei Chachamim. Yivrei Torah, Avimi. I don't know the words.
Okay. What an incredible evening. A Siyum. We hear Moe Levi. And you know, my father always says the reason why Sephardim are so rich is because every time they say Kaddish, when they get to the word Verevach, they all scream Verevach. And that is why all the Syrians are rich, as my father says. Anyways, I don't know if Joey and Moe are Syrians, but whatever it is, Kenai Nahara. Okay, and an amazing juggling situation going on over here. Baruch Hashem Shkoyach. We're moving right along. As some of you may have noticed, any soda in there?
Sure.
Some of you may have noticed that Rabbi Eli showed this tremendous folder including over 600 different charts. If you're interested in acquiring the charts, it's just a question of paying $1,000 to the website. You can get all 600 charts. Very simple thing. Okay, and now we turn to Rab Noam Fix, incredible, fantastic athlete.
What's going on here?
And he is going to give a prize to Rabbi for being so amazing. A present to our intrepid Magachir. The guy Videlio.
Okay. If Eli could figure out what this chart has to do with Maseches Eruvin, he gets a present. What does this chart, a Negro, very good, okay. Rabbi Eli gets a present. Rabbi Sai, we all know. Bring it in, bring it in. Let's show it, let's show it. This is the live version.
Wow. Oh, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Wait, they can't see the reflection.
Oh, there's more. Bye.
This is the present.
Rebelli, for all your hard work, for all your efforts, and for getting us through Maseches Eruvin with 600 charts, we thought no better way to celebrate and give you a present than this small little, we'll open it up and you'll see. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The pictures you provided for us over Eruvin are
worth way more than 1,000 words.
Priceless. There you go. Come on and sit down.
I have to speak. I'm very shy. Wow.
Wow, look at that. Unbelievable.
You know I like pictures. Wow. It's all the charts?
And
wow. That's insane. It's a picture book with hundreds and hundreds of pictures. Wow, I love this stuff. Somebody spent a lot of time on this. Eitan O'Gerek, Yishkoyach for the food. Wow. Hours and hours by Avi Kamiansky. Love this stuff. That's why he's here on this picture right over here. Love it. All right, Yishkoyach. Thank you very, very much. The only thing that's missing from this book is the title. Guy Videlio. Right here, Rabbi Isai. Have a wonderful day. I'll try. I will try. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Really appreciate it. What? With? Wow, it's from the early days. Look at this. This is a good one.
Okay, moving right along. Ellie's wiping away the tears over here next to me. And we're going to continue. We have a name that keeps on coming up all the time. I think we can't go a day without hearing this name. Common of the Five Towns somehow managed to be in every single shir. I think Ellie really likes Common of the Five Towns. Loves Common of the Five Towns. And now we have a little video from Common of the Five Towns. So everybody give your attention to the one and only Common of the Five Towns.
Okay, Shalom Aleichem. I'm here with my Rebbe, Rabbi Bloomstein, from Five Towns.
Yismach Moshe.
From Yismach Moshe. You know, he's my Rebbe here.
Okay, Shalom Aleichem, everyone. I'm in my Erev trekking clothing here now, and it's quite freezing out here.
Yes, it is.
So the Yulid Erev uses a combination of fences and Tzuras HaPesach. If you look at that corner on that building, we use the back of the building, which is the Young Israel of Yulid. We use the back of the building, and on top we have, we have a Tzuras HaPesach from here.
And you can see that. You see the Tzuras HaPesach, you see?
And crosses over the street. That's our...
Is there a way to make this light here, or you can't make it light?
No, I don't make what light?
On the iPhone.
I don't know.
All right.
But if you cross the street carefully,
okay.
You'll see here.
It's a little bit dark. But that's okay.
Okay, so we
Shalom Aleichem again. Okay.
We follow the wire. You got the wire?
Yes, we have the wire.
Okay, and then you continue to the left of here.
How do we get us in here?
Yeah, we had enough for us.
Yeah?
Beautiful. Okay.
Didn't get us in here. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Shalom Aleichem, this is Avi Rosenberg from North Miami Beach. I wanted to share a Ma'aseh Shahaya that happened this past Shmini Atzeres with the Ireland. This is my sukkah. On Shmini Atzeres, while we were in Shul, we were informed that the Erev was down. So the question was, would we be able to use our sukkah on Shmini Atzeres? We were told if the sukkah is attached to the house, then we will be able to use the sukkah. If not, we will not be able to use the sukkah. So here's my sukkah, and it is, what you can't see now is the schach is not there, obviously, but the schach that we had went over the roof. So it's a three-walled sukkah, and the third wall goes into the house over here, and it goes in, not into the house, but under an overhang over here. So the question is, were we allowed to use the sukkah? So I spoke to our local Erev Rav, that is Rabbi Yitzchak Selmar, and he told me as follows. He said that we are allowed to use the sukkah because the overhang, which is the Dofen Akuma for the sukkah, is, when it comes out of the house, it's considered closed in because Peter B'Saisam. But then, recently, as we learned more about Peter B'Saisam, I asked him about if it still works because the roof of my house is slanted. So he said that was a good question. He said, even though yes, we don't use Peter B'Saisam for a slanted roof, but we are not using the top part of the roof for Peter B'Saisam. Instead, we are using the under part of the roof, which is more like a ceiling. That's a flat ceiling. So that is considered Pitikra Yor B'Saisam. I just wanted to share that with you. I love Mazel Tov everyone on finishing Erev and Be well.
Okay, moving right along. You know, it's very hard for me to focus because Rabbi Eli left his Merkaz Daf Yomi, a picture is worth 1,000 words album right next to me. So how am I supposed to do this job if I have this album to look at? Very hard, very big challenge. Okay, moving right along. We now turn to New York, where the one and only great friend of MDY, sponsor, executive producer, Ami Magazine contributor, just really a guy who's been very involved in so many ways. He's the one who put the ad into Ami Magazine. Really, like executive sponsor trip. We appreciate it. Really, one of the greats in the MDY Chabura. Yossi Klein, we turn to you. Here we go.
If you see that I'm not in a good mood, you know why I'm not in a good mood? Because I didn't listen to the daf today yet. I gotta go do the daf. When I'm gonna do the daf, my mood will change. I'll become a better mood. Because I didn't hear the Good Morgen Rabbi Sai. I didn't hear the Good Morgen Rabbi Sai from Rabbi Eli. Once I hear this Good Morgen, after my Good Morgen, my day is changed. He comes every day with such a smile, with such a positive energy that gives into us. So that's why if I have stress, yeah, I have it because I didn't listen to the shir yet. The difference between this Daf Yomi shir and any other Daf Yomi shir is the unity between everybody, the oilam, you see all sorts of people. You see people with kippa sruga, streimel, bells, satmir, litvish, with a hat, without a hat, and they all become like a family. So if somebody will talk bad now at someone, in the past I would say, oh, this guy, now it's more like unity. What do you mean? You're not gonna speak bad about my brother. You're not gonna speak bad about my cousin that's my close friend. So MDY is like a community, not like a community, it's like family. If you listen to a regular shir, you're just like another member. But this year is different because it's everybody has a voice. So you have a question, you have a comment. If you don't like anything, if you don't like the background from Rabbi Eli when he gives the shir or whatever it is, it's always going to be your voice going to be listened to. You're going to send an email, they're going to change stuff around. And this is the difference between any other Daf Yomi shirim. I feel like very privileged. Mit a groise hakuris hatoiv. As Baruch Hashem, I found this shir, and I don't know where was I till now. Mamash, it's a chiz that I found it, and I don't know how many people like me would be like, hey, if I would know this before, I would just join this a long time ago. And this is mamash as a chiz, and I have a very big akuras atov to Reb Eli and to the people around it that join it. That's like I melech b'loy am, and it's everybody is joining, and I have a very big akudas atov. I recommend it to everybody. Just listen to one shir, you'll be hooked up forever. Try it out. Just try out one shir. I'm not asking you to try out everything, but I promise you, you'll be by the end of the Siyum, and you'll tell me you finished us.
Hey, amazing video, Yossi Klein. And now we have a special treat, back by popular request. Last time was a huge hit. The Makubal, Talmid Chacham, Marbitz Torah, Charusa Rab Shach. Really also taught, he was a Rebbe in Shar Yoshev. And he taught, he was mamish. He used to wake Eli up when he was a very young boy, take him to Vasikin, and then take him to check shechita of chickens in Bnei Brak in the middle of the night. Mamish, unbelievable father, and Marbitz Torah, and a tremendous Adam Gadol, Harav Stefanski Shlita.
Okay. My son, Rebbe Leo, tells me that the beauty in the daf is that it's yomi. I would like to concentrate on that point. We find in two things, in the good and in the bad. In the good, the Novi Yeshaya in the Nun Ches base says, Ve'oisi Yom Yom Yidroshon. Every single day, they bispalel to me. And in the bed we find in Bereshis Lametes Pasuk Yud, the Eishes Poitifa says, Vayike Dabro Elov, she was talking to Yosef Yom Yom, every single day. What is that concept of the kviyus every single day? So we find in Torah that musik. Chazal tell us in the Dugme, in Kiddushin, in Poga B'chol Menuvel Zeh, V'Tetzahore, Statzapledio, Moshchelu Besamedrash. In Evenu, if it's a stone, the Torah is like mayim, and it breaks the stone. So we find in Ovis the Reb Nosson, Perik Vov Mishnah Beis. It says like this: Ma hoyo tchilose shel Reb Akiva. Omru, Perabim Shono hoyo. V'Rishon Klum. Reb Akiva was 40 years old and he didn't learn a thing. Pamachas hoyo al pi habeir. Omar, michocha kevin zu. He saw by the Beir a stone that has a hole. Every single day, there's drops and drops and drops that continuously fall. And they're the ones that made it. So the Agor says, he was wondering, water is such a light thing. Falls in anything, and you wipe it off. Could it make a hole? On Wula Akiva, yet the Koire, didn't you read the pasuk? It says, Avonim shochakumai. The water makes a hole in the heaven. Miyad, Rabbi Akiva don't call v'choyma ba'atzmai. Rabbi Akiva made it call v'choyma. If the water that is soft makes a hole in the heart, in the heaven, Torah that is like Barzel, of course it'll penetrate my heart. And Rabbi Akiva decided to learn, and as we all know, Rabbi Akiva became the Gedolah Tanoim, as the Gemara calls him, and Eruvin, he was Mikabel the Torah Shabbat Peh. In the music of Yom Yom, of the Nisyonos of Yosef, you understand the pasuk goes and beats off the Seder. Vayi kedabro elov Yom Yom. Every single day she talks to Yosef. And every single day, Yosef is Emet Ben Yisrael. Vayi Ayom, she tells him, but it's Veseyu Bebikidoi. She grabbed him on his shirt, his baguette. Leimon, she told him, Shichvoimi. So we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew. A Bosor Vedom, 17-year-old boy, will not be able to bring Emet Ben Yisrael, Emet Tispeseyu Bebikidoi, unless the prior to this comes the Vayike Dabro Elov. She spoke to him Yom Yom, and he was Oimet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, okay, now's the time that you have already the courage, the strength. Let's go to the harder thing. And this is basically the human being, as the Novi in Zechariah says, V'nosati lecho mehalchim beinoim dimoile. So Rashi says, Ketargumoy. Ve'eten loch riglim. I'll give you feet. The mehalchim that they walk, bein srofayo hoilim, they walk bein asrofim. That means that the srofim, the chayus hakodesh, they're standing. They don't walk. They don't have nisyonis. But the person is every day a hoilech. He continuously walks. Every day is a new nisyon. Every day is a new matzav that he overcomes. I would like to tell you a story, a short story from the Michigan Dali Zvila who took her son-in-law, Elitzvak. Comes Pesach, first Pesach, and he has a big question. What do I do? Vayas v'yitke broks, as you all know, v'yitke broks. But Rebbes, They don't need the box. Chassidim don't need the box. What do we do? They decided to listen to Shloimke's video. Grandfather. He goes to Shloimke and he tells him this question. Shloimke says, Mach sich nicht narrisch. You think in Ulam Abba they ask you if you ate the box. That's not what you're going to ask you. So what do they ask you? They don't ask you if you ate the box. So I want to read you off of Gemara in Yuma in Daf Lamed Hey. What do they ask you? Tolum Rabban, Oni v'Osher v'Roshe Boim Ledin. That means Chazal Magdir, the entire Bria, the entire universe. It doesn't mean just the Oni, or just the Osher, or just the Osher. It means all the difficulties that a person goes through life, and each one in his own difficulties. Come to the why didn't you learn? What kind of a question? Why did you do Averas? Why did you do Spitoshan Over? Why did you steal? Why did you tell off people? Why did you go into Machlokas? No. And comes the Rosh. Everybody tells Hashem, and Hashem answers him. What does the Rosh say? You think he talks deep language? He talks to Hashem a simple language, to the business Shemalu, as he understands. He says, no, Risi. I was a handsome person. The Torah beats Risi. I was busy with my Tzahor. That's how in the Neshama, Kedusha, tells Hashem, tells business Shemalu, yeah, he says, what can I do? But they tell him the truth. There was Emes. That's a teretz. That's a good answer. But 1 hour to rev away for Hashem, yes, you could. And that would have saved you. That would have changed your entire behavior. And what would happen? You'd say a person comes to the Milo. Yes, you are Kaisen. You had a big problem with Kas. Yes, you are a Bashaklan. You couldn't say the truth. That's how you are. Yes, you're Balmei Komet. You can't forgive. It's in your blood. And so on and so forth, the rest. But if you answer to Hashem, I was 1 hour, I grabbed away from my life and I gave it to you. So what happens then? I want to bring out a story that I saw in the Zerua. The Zerua brings that in the city there was a Kabbalah, a person that buries people after they lose their life, come make a kula. The Kabbalah came in the morning to shul, 5 dogs, and he sees from far away a person waiting in front of the shul. As he comes closer, he recognizes him. I just buried him a few days ago. He walks over and he says, didn't I bury you just a few days ago? He says, yes. And what's over there? He says, very good. The Mver mechabit me. They give me a beautiful place. So he says, tells him, listen, weren't you a Ish Boshut over here? Well, what's happening? He says, yes, I was a Ish Boshut. So what? But every single day, I was davening B'nai Imus, and because of that, other people came around me and they also started it. So they opened the doors. And I want to tell you, comes a minute, comes a time when a person comes there and they ask him, what did you do? We know all the issues, we know all the problems, everything is open. But a person says, the 1 hour I gave up to you. Whether it was Rosh Hashanah, it was Yom Kippur, Chol HaMoed, Tisha B'Av, doesn't make a difference. Every day with this Nisayon, every day with the hardship, but I gave away to Hashem. They open up a big base medrash with all the Goinim, with all the Talmidei Chachomim, with all the Tanoim and the Amoraim, and they put you into B'nehenim Ziva Shechina. And then you understand what means a daf, yoimi, with every single day. Mazel tov for the Siyum, and Mazel tov for the learning, and she continues, she was zurcha to stay goes.
So my name is Reuven Chait. I'm an administrator of a yeshiva high school. I started with this year. We were a small group of guys learning up in Chaniche in the shul. And I started liking this. I was like, hey, I'm going through, we're starting to get through Masechtas, getting to know stuff and concepts I know, I've heard of or I've never even heard of. And I just started liking the shir, and I like the style, and I enjoy the way Eli the delivery is very a clear delivery, and you could tell, even though we're learning the daf in a very fast pace and we're just like kind of hitting the subjects on top, but you could tell that Eli really knows what's going on. You could, if you have questions, you could go in and into an in-depth conversation about the daf, and he's holding it, he knows what's going on, and I like that very much.
First of all the charts, the visuals, the hands-on. Not many shiurim have every day 5-10 pictures.
You'll have the charts and the enthusiasm that Eli brings into the shir just charges you up, and you get all involved in the daf, understanding the daf, getting the different cases. In Eruvin we hit 600 charts, I think we're up to.
Not every shir has a balabas giving the shir. Usually it's a rabbi with a big long beard, a chashuv guy, a very big learner. This shir, simple balabas like everybody else, wanting to learn, likes to learn, and just one of the guys.
Eli's got a lot of things about him. He's like an all-around type of guy. He's got his business side, he's got his yeshivish side, he's got his touring around the world.
Personally, I went to very yeshivish yeshivas like Panovich and Passaic. I went to Chaim Berlin, which is not that yeshivish. And some of my best friends are, modern Orthodox. I lived in a very modern Orthodox community. And when I was a child, I went to Hasidic Chadar. And I speak a fluent Yiddish, so I relate to all these types of people, and I think they relate to me when I throw in some Yiddish, and some of my best friends till this very day are modern Orthodox, so we get that whole variety. My father's a Rav with a long beard, my cousins they have these long beards, and then we have, just balabatim and doctors, and so the gamut, everybody.
So many people connect because he speaks the different languages that the different people like. He'll speak to the businessmen in their language, and he'll speak to the yeshiva guys in their language. So that's where I very much connected, because I felt like there's someone on my level that I could talk to in learning and have a good conversation, have a good gishmak learning, while still keeping that fast pace of the daf. He has this thing of trying to make the Gemara come alive very much. So he's always making these demonstrations and always bringing funny stuff to shir. Like I remember he brought that scorpion to shir, or when we had that sugya about the tcheles, he came with like piles of wool and the dye and the actual snails and the whole stuff. He was just making this whole show and tell, which makes it very exciting, makes it very gishmak. We actually shechted a lamb, and he showed us the entire insides and all the different things we were learning about, with the lungs and the insides and all these intestines, all the... Oh my God. That was incredible. It was actually incredible to actually make it come to life. It was very, very exciting to see the Gemara come alive. I never thought that I would just be learning Daf Yomi. This wasn't my style learning at all. But then at some point I realized, hey, there's a massive shas out there and I'm not reaching. And I got to get to at least go through it once in my life, get to know a little bit what this is all about. And it turned out that this is how I start off my day. And eventually there were days, especially now since COVID, and things in yeshiva were very difficult, and we had to deal with many issues of how to keep yeshiva running during these times. And it turns out that there were many days that this was my only learning of the day. I wasn't able to actually get to my other things that I enjoy learning. So the daf is kind of keeping me on learning in a certain sense.
Mazel tov, Rav Stefanski, and all the wonderful participants in your shir. Tizkei lahagdil Torah ladir. It's amazing. Kovea, lima the Torah, ein mashu kazeh, ki heim chayenu va'orech yomeni. Asher kol gadol, mazal tov.
At some point, Eli wanted someone who was involved in the daf to start editing the 8-minute videos. And I'm not sure how I got myself into this, but I started the editing, and I actually was trained in by Eli. And he showed me how to insert all the charts and how to, with the timeline and editing a 8-minute video, which takes much more than 8 minutes. And then at the end of the day, when I come home from work, I have a little bit of break for supper, and then I sit down and edit the 8-minute video for an hour and a half every day. Sometimes he could come knocking on the door 10 minutes before Shabbos and giving me a video to edit. And I'll be like, oh, when are we doing this for? Or we'll have times at night where I just finished editing a video, it's about 12:30, and he'll go through the video and he'll say, well, I messed up on this and this, could you please fix this or delete this and add this little chart, and it's 1 a.m. and I'm thinking to myself, well, I gotta get to work tomorrow. So the 8-minute keeps my life interesting, and I actually enjoy it very much because it's another chazara. I get to review the daf once again if we're doing it, or I get to prepare a little bit of the highlights of the daf before I actually get to learn the daf, which is great because that enhances the learning very much. So it was about 2 years ago when Eli told me, we're gonna have 10,000 viewers on this 8-minute daf. Sometimes it comes to me, it could be at 1 a.m. and I'll say, Ruben, there are 15,000 people waiting for this video. Well, Eli, let me tell you something. There are 4 people watching this video. Maybe on a day that Noam Fix has a little extra time, so we get 5. That's it.
And for the second lesson, it will only go according to Rav. Have a wonderful day.
Yossi Hirsch from Kensington. From Boynton Beach, Florida. This is Jeff Gordon.
My name is Yossi Klein from Monsey, New York.
My name is Dol Farkas from Australia.
I'm Bernard David from the Manchester Daf Yomi Chabura.
This is Ari Ben Shushan.
My name is Chesky Rosenberg. I live in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Every single day, thousands of people across the world participate in Reb Eli Stefanski's daily Daf Yomi Shiurim.
The impact that I have since I started listening to the Shiurim from Reb Eli, it gives me such a clarkheit, such a difference. It impacts me.
Over 15,000 people watch Reb Eli on a daily basis, given from Merkaz Daf Yomi, a center dedicated to Daf Yomi that Reb Eli started in Ramat Beit Shemesh.
Myself and 4 of my boys finished Masechtas, Brachos and Shabbos. It is the highlight of our day.
I love your shir, I love Eli, I love the energy, I love being part of the Chabura.
Not every shir has a balabas giving the shir. Usually it's a rabbi with a big long beard, a chashuv guy, a very big learner. The shir, simple balabas like everybody else, wanting to learn, likes to learn, and just one of the guys.
Es ist Geschmack Shiram, es ist klure Shiram, kein Gemur ist schwer, and es ist mamash a stress relief pill. It's totally a stress relief pill.
Reb Eli gives a shir in an exciting, energetic, informative, and interactive way, with charts and a clear, concise delivery, and his 8-minute daf review allows people to remember the daf or prepare for the next daf, and they can get it through social media such as WhatsApp or online.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd pick up a Gemara and start learning a daf. I haven't picked up a Gemara since Yeshiva. Each day, I actually can't go through the day without opening up the Gemara and doing the daf with Reb Eli and the Chevra over there. It's an amazing thing.
I thank Reb Stefanski. We all thank the entire Chabura.
Reb Eli's injection of Achdus and his charts and Hasbara has given the most amazing impetus to my learning of Daf Yomi.
Reb Eli shir draws people from literally all walks of life across the entire world who really make the Daf Yomi with Reb Eli the central part of their day.
First thing every morning is to watch the shir on YouTube.
It's a pity it's only 45 minutes of the day.
My son convinced me, he said, try it for one day. I picked it up and I haven't put it down since.
With the new Masechta starting right now is the time to join Daf Yomi.
Hook up to the Shiram. It's one daf that you need to be hooked on, and then I guarantee you I'll see you by the Siyum Hashas and you'll tell me you finished Shas.
As Rabbi Eli says, and we all know, it's not about the daf, it's about the Yomi. It's the journey. It's not the daf. Just being able to remember one thing each day makes my life better, makes me a better person, and makes me strive to go the next day and try to learn something else.
If you want to have a geschmack in learning, this is the place to be. Torah is fun, Torah is geschmack, it's accessible, and you can do it. We can finish us together.
And you can transform your day by being involved with Daf Yomi with Reb Eli Stefanski. Watch one share, and you'll see what everyone's talking about.
Hi, this is Shlomo Ben.
Hi, it's Yisrael Golson here from Borough Park. I'm a photographer by trade, work almost every single night by Simchas, and during the day I work for a company called B&H Photo. I'm a father of 10 children, 3 of them are married. It's very hard throughout the day to find time to sit and learn. Going back 7 and 14 years ago, when I had the Siyum Shas, I attended them. I was very moved. I took upon myself that I'm going to do the Daf Yomi. And of course, like most people, they say, you start Bruchas, it comes Shabbos, Shabbos Bo Manicha, and then the Daf fell away, unfortunately. This time around, I was sitting over there, and when they told all the people to stand up, whoever made the Siyum, stand up and show yourself, be proud that you just finished Shas, I turned around to my son, and I told him, next time, I'm going to be one of the Messiah of the Shas. I went to a shir next to my house in a shul. COVID hit. I caught Corona. I ended up being quarantined in my house. Couldn't go to the shul. And I found this 8-minute daf. Well, that's cool, 8 minutes. I watched it. I watched it the next day. Then I see that he has the regular shir. I watched the regular shir. Oh, this guy's good. Great shir. How he delivers it with a sense of humor. It was kind of a contrast, you know, a Chassidish guy like me going to go listen to a shir from a guy, you know, clean shaven, but it was clear. The shir actually starts at 12:15. But you know what's funny? I'm coming on the shir ready 5 to 12, 10 to 12, quarter to 12, just to be on the group with the family from all walks of life and from all over the world. It's amazing. The camaraderie in this shir is phenomenal. My daughter got married 2 months ago. After the wedding, I opened my phone. I can't remember exactly the number. I think it was around 40 people sent me mazel tovs. People up until a few months ago I never met. I mean, I actually haven't physically met them, but I talk to them all the time on the shir. The motto in the MDY.
You talk to anybody?
It's not about the daf, the yomi.
What?
You gotta be in the shir, you gotta do the daf every single day. Of course, for me, it's very hard to be on the shir every night at 12:15. I'm working, I'm at a wedding, until I pack up, till I come home. Sometimes I arrive only like 1 o'clock, so I'm on the post shir. But the commitment of doing the shir every single day. But the way Rabbi Eli entertains us in the shir, it gives me a commitment. I gotta watch the shir, even if I can't do it by night, I'll do it the next morning. Start off first thing in the morning, turn on the YouTube, or Torah anytime, and I will watch the shir. My wife has seen a difference, my kids have seen a difference, my sons-in-law are telling me, Shve, you're doing the daf, you're keeping up with it. It really, really changed my life. I appreciate it. I got this jacket recently. I wear it almost every single day. I walk around the streets, I go on my jobs, I go to my simchas, I'm wearing this jacket. So people ask me, 8-minute daf? Huh, what's that? A Chassidish guy comes over to me and tells me, you know what? You told me last week about this 8-minute daf. It's great, I checked it out. He's a great Maggid Shia. Don't know who he is. Never, I mean, I've seen his face around, don't know his name, but apparently the phrases and the jokes and the comments he mentioned about Shia, that I realized that he didn't only watch the 8-minute, he watched the whole Shia. So that's how I'm trying to bring as many people as possible to do the daf, and also to bring them closer to Torah life.
Hi, this is Shlomo Ben Zaken from Kochav Yaakov. I'm so excited to be part of the Siyum of Masechet Eruvin. This is my first Masechet that I'm actually completing. I've touched several prakim of different Masechet, but never finished one. So I really, really appreciate everything that Rav Eli Stefansky and all the chevra behind the scenes have done for all of us. And I hope this contribution of this video will help everyone understand what Eruvin's all about, how we put up Eruvin and how we maintain them. Special thanks to Rav Uriel Sfez, the Rav of Kochav Yaakov, and to Rabbi Yaakov Brandwein, who is the head of the Eruv in Tel Zion, which is an adjoining yeshuv right next to Kochav Yaakov. This is a yeshuv that's actually Tel Zion, Kochav Yaakov. This is a yeshuv that is just north of Yerushalayim. And we're here at the entrance of the yeshuv, which is called, actually this is called the Shin Gimel over here. You can see that. It's security gate. And we're going to be speaking to Rav Uriel Sfez, the Rav of the yeshuv, who will show us how our Eruv is built.
שלום לכולם, אנחנו פה ביישוב כוכב יעקב, בחבל בנימין, צפונית לירושלים. אנחנו זוכים פה ליהנות מהעירוב של היישוב, שהוא מיוחד מאשר העירובים הרגילים שבערים הגדולות. בערים הגדולות יש מסביב צורת הפתח, מה שנקרא בגמרא קנה מכאן, קנה מכאן וקנה על גביהם, שזה הופך צורת הפתח את הכרמלית לרשות היחיד. יש הרבה פוסקים שאומרים שהיום המקום שלנו, הרחוב שלנו הוא לא כרמלית, אלא רשות הרבים, בגלל שיש לו דרך רחבה 16 אמה. ונראה מדברי השולחן ערוך שברשות הרבים לא מועיל צורת הפתח, צריך ממש חומה. אצלנו ביישוב, מסיבות ביטחוניות, שמו מסביב לכל היישוב גדר אטומה, ועל סמך הגדר אנחנו זוכים לעירוב מהודר. אמנם בכניסה ליישוב יש שער שלפעמים הוא נפתח בשבתות בגלל רכבים של ביטחון או רכבים של הצלה, אבל אנחנו נראה שבאזור השער יש גם צורת הפתח שמכסה גם את הנקודה הזאת. אז אם כן, כאן העירוב שלנו בנוי לא על צורת הפתח, אלא על כעין חומה שלמה. שלום, אנחנו פה נמצאים ליד הגדר שמקיפה את כל היישוב כוכב יעקב ותל ציון. זו גדר ביטחונית. אתם רואים את המנגנון הזה של הצינור השחור עם החיישנים, שאם חלילה הגדר נפרצת, מיד רואים את זה במצלמות של הביטחון. פעם עשינו ניסיון, באמצע הגדר מישהו נשען חזק פה, ומיד זה הזיק את האבטחה. זה נותן לנו פתרון לשאלה אם העירוב נפגע או לא נפגע. מה שבדרך כלל במקומות אחרים צריך כל שבת, כל יום שישי לעבור לראות שצורת הפתח לא נקראה. בכניסה ליישוב יש לנו שער גדול, שער צהוב, שבשבת הוא סגור. למרות שהוא יותר רחב מ10 אמות, 5 מטר, הוספנו בכניסה צורת הפתח. צורת הפתח זה קנה מכאן, וקנה מכאן, וקנה על גביהם. קורה לפעמים שבצורת הפתח החוט לא ממש נמצא מעל העמוד. לכן יש פה יהודי יקר, הרב ריימן, שהמציא מכשיר עם מראות, שהוא רואה בדיוק שהחוט נמצא מעל העמוד. זה דבר שהוא תנאי חיוני מאוד, ולפעמים הוא גם מוסיף תוספות כדי לשכלל את העירוב. כמו שאתם רואים פה, שהוא הוסיף פה עמוד שהוא מעל 10 טפחים, שהוא פותר לנו בעיות חתיות כשהזוויות לא מספיק מתאימות. אז כאמור, יש פה, אמנם ביישוב יכול להיות אנשים, אנחנו פה כולנו יראי שמיים, שומרי שבת, אבל אתם יודעים שמי שלא מודה בעירוב, הוא מקלקל את העירוב, כמו שהמשנה אומרת בפרק 6, הדר עם אנוכי, הרי זה אוסר עליו. אם חלילה יש מחלל שבת, או יש גוי שהוא עובד זר והוא שוכר דירה ביישוב, שהוא שואל דירה, או שיש פה מי שלא מודה בעירוב, הרב המקומי הקודם, הרב וודשקו, הלך למנהל האזרחי פה וקנה רשות. מי שלמד עירובין, סימן שצ"ב, ניתן לקנות משר העיר רשות, ששר העיר יכול להיכנס לכל הבתים, לערוך חיפושים, חיפוש משטרתי, ולכן כאשר הרב המקומי קנה מהמנהל האזרחי את הרשות, זאת אומרת, כאן אפשר לפתור את הבעיה של גויים שנמצאים ביחד איתנו פה אין גויים, אבל אם יש מישהו חלילה לא מודה בעירוב, אז זה השיטה, לקנות את הרשות משר העיר. במקום שלנו זה המינהל האזרחי או המפקד החטיבה. שיהיה לנו שבת שלום ונזכה לקיים שמירת שבת בארץ ישראל, אמן כן יהי רצון.
Shalom, my name is Rabbi Yaakov Brandwein. I'm in charge of the Eruv in Siyum. I want to share with you a couple of techniques that I use here in order to hopefully be Mizaki the Rabbim and to teach people a couple things about Eruv and how we do things practically, and how we can make things easier than they actually are being done today. In a lot of Israeli cities, you're going to see that the top of the Eruv looks something like this. This is an old method that was made in order to keep the string on top of the pole, because we know it says in the Gemara on Daf Yud Aleph that meaning the meaning the string that we use practically needs to be specifically on top of the pole. If you have a string and it's on the side of the pole, then that is a puzzle Tzuras Pesach. In order to keep it on top, so what they used to do is something like this. They put two little nails and they would use two different pieces of metal in order to keep the string in the middle, in order that it doesn't go to the side and doesn't fall off the side of the pole. Now, the problem with this old method is the following, that number one, the sides of the pole are sharp, meaning if you want to put on the string, if you want to put a string like this on and then afterwards pull it, in order to tighten the string should be tight and that shouldn't move back and forth in a Ruach Mitsuya, then you can't pull it that tight without tearing the string and cutting it with this sharp edge. That's one disadvantage. The other disadvantage is, as you see, a lot of times when you do this, one of the nails here gets bent. Now what happens then is that you'll have a string and sometimes it'll climb up the side of the side of the masmer, the side of the nail, and even though it looks like to you that the string is above the pole, it's not, because here we're sticking out. The string actually is not directly 90 degrees above the pole, and that's called the Tzuras Pesach Binatzad. That is a puzzle Tzuras Pesach. Also, sometimes the pole itself is a little bit tilted. If the pole itself is a little bit tilted and the string runs up, then it'll take only a couple millimeters, and already the string is on the side of the pole. Everybody thinks the Eruv is kosher, the Eruv is actually puzzle. So this is not the best methodology, and this, even though this is being used in a lot of Israeli cities, hopefully slowly we'll get this replaced with something better. So what's being used now, typically, is something that looks more like this. This is called the V. You see why. It's called the V because it doesn't have these disadvantages. Number one, the V is put on top of a cap. This cap is rounded on the edges. That means when the string is put on top, and then you want to pull it tight, and somebody is at the bottom of a 20-foot tall pole, and he's pulling it tight at the bottom, then there's nothing to tear the string, and the string can be pulled as tight as you want. And since this kind of string that we use holds up to 100 kilograms, 200 test string, so you can pull it as hard as you want, and the string will be extremely tight for a good 100 feet or more. And it won't move so much in a Ruach Mitsuya. So that's what you want. So number one, that's the first thing we do, is we have a rounded edge over here in order to be able to pull the string very tight. The other thing about the V is, as you see clearly, there's no way that the string is going to climb up in any sort of a way that it will leave the boundaries that it has to be in between. It has to be above the pole. Now, the hard part about the V is the following. Everybody who's involved in an Eruv knows that whenever you have to change a string and you're in the middle of the snow or the rain or the hail and it's very, very cold outside, then you have a big problem. This thing that I'm holding in my hand is 20 feet up in the air, at least. And you need to, how we put up the string is we use a telescopic rod. The person who's checking the Eruv, he's standing on the floor. He extends the telescopic rod all the way up to the height of the pole with the string on top of it. And he inserts the string inside of the V. And then from the bottom, he'll pull it tight and he'll tie it on from the bottom. Now, when it's raining on you and you're looking up at the sky and there's snow coming into your eyes and hail falling on you and you can't feel your fingers because your fingers are numb, then you're playing an interesting game because you have this up 20 feet above your head and you're trying to aim to try to get this string into the V. Of course, you're going to miss it once, you're going to miss it twice, you're going to miss it a third time, and you're getting cold. So I invented something new, which I hope will take off here. Nobody knows about this yet. But what I do is the following. Instead of using a V, what I invented is like this. I take a regular chain that you buy at any kolbo, using a ratechet, a soldering device. You just put the amperage all the way up, you give it one good zap, and you get a hole. You get a hole in the chain falls off. Okay? Afterwards, you solder the piece of chain onto your cap, and this is what you get. Now the advantage of this is that you can do this with your eyes closed. This pole again is really 20 feet up in the air. I'm at the bottom with my telescopic rod. I put the string on the telescopic rod, and even with my eyes closed, I just run the string up. I run the string up along the side of the pole, and it just clicks in by itself. You let it down, and it takes a second. So even in the rain, sleet, and snow, I'm able to do this very, very quickly. I pull the string tight, it's tight at the bottom, and I really hope people take this idea. It happens to be also cheaper than the V, so I hope people take this idea and I hope it takes off in Israel very soon. Okay, now how do we tighten the string? To tighten the string, again, like I said, the string is going to go through the V or through my little new invention, and then it's going to be pulled from the operator at the bottom. It's going to be pulled very hard as you could possibly pull, until the string is completely tight. Now, where do we tie it on the bottom? Now, there's been a couple methods also in the past. One of the methods has been to use this. It's called a motchan. They use this for fencing, really, regular fencing. The string is put through the motchan, and with any sort of vice grip, the motchan is turned, and the string is wrapped around until the string is very tight. Now, I'll tell you the truth. This is a little bit expensive, and it doesn't work that well. I'm going to show you what I do, which is much cheaper, much easier, and look how easily it works. Okay, now all you're going to need are 2 self-impaling screws with 2 washers. I just dropped one. Okay, and look what you do with it. Oh, very simply, you start drilling in. Now notice you keep it, notice you keep it a little bit loose. And I'll show you why in just a second. 1 second, I'll do the other one now. Ready, we get the second one in. Make it a little bit loose, make sure it's not all the way in. Okay. Now here, when you're at the bottom of the pole, what you're doing is, you're pulling the string as hard as you can backwards, and then you wrap it around, and you do it again and again, until you get the string as tight as it could possibly be. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is called the bakbuk. Bakbuk in Hebrew means the bottle, because they used to make these out of soda bottles, and now you can just make it out of anything you want. The idea is like this. We know that the mezuzah, meaning the surface is made out of kan mikan, kan al gabehen. There's another halacha that we know, that we learn in daf tests, that the bottom kana and the top kana don't have to touch each other, meaning the kana over here and the kana in the air could be very far from each other, but they have to be perfectly lined up. In other words, if the kana al gabehen is even 1 millimeter this way or that way, and doesn't line up with the kana lamata, then your Erev is possible, you don't have the Tzeres Pesach. Now how are you going to measure that? Do not use your eyes. Do not use your eyes. You have to use an instrument. So what we invented is called the bakbuk. The bakbuk works like this. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're lying down on the ground, and there's a thin chain that's dangling above your eye. And you're looking up at the chain in the sky that's dangling, and all you see is just 1 dot. You don't see the length of the chain. Now you know you're looking exactly 90 degrees in the air. Why? Because the power of gravity pulls the chain perfectly downwards towards the center of the earth, and therefore the chain is hanging at an exact 90-degree angle. You're lying down on the floor, you're looking up at it, so all you see is a dot. You know you're looking straight through the chain, you're looking straight 90 degrees into the air. So now, we don't want to lie down on the ground, so you could also put a mirror there. You could stand up, you could put a mirror underneath the chain, and through the mirror look straight up. If in the mirror all you see is 1 little dot, then you know you're looking through the mirror 90 degrees into the air. Now, if you happen to see an electrical cable above that dot, and it passes straight to the dot, then you know that you are exactly 90 degrees below the electrical cable. So this is what a bakbuk looks like. This is my own homemade one. I did not make this one out of a soda bottle, but I just took a bunch of pieces of wood and a thin piece of tight, thin fishing string, a little chain. This is not real gold. You buy this for 2 shekels at any jewelry store that they sell for your 5-year-old girl necklace, and you just hang it down. And when it's not moving, it's hanging exactly 90 degrees up and down. Through the mirror, if you look into the mirror and you line your eye up in a way that all you see is 1 exact dot from the bottom of the necklace or the bottom of the chain, then you know you're looking 90 degrees into the air. If you see that the string passes exactly above that dot, then you know that your bakbuk is exactly underneath the string. If you see the string is more to the left or more to the right, more forward, more backwards, then you know that you're not lined up and you know your lechi is not in the right place. The bakbuk shows us, using the chain and the mirror, exactly where the string is, and it'll show us whether or not the string is directly above the lechi, or if the string is really slightly to the side. Okay, so we're just out there in the shetach. I'm going to show you what it looks like and what I was seeing through the bakbuk. So the idea is that you're looking through the mirror, and as long as you see only 1 dot, see that little dot there, that's the chain. And as long as you see only 1 dot in the chain, then you know you're looking perfectly 90 degrees up. You see the string, it passes straight through that dot. The string here is passing straight through the dot. Then you know that you are exactly underneath the string. If you would see the string over here, or you'd see the string over here, or the string would be completely nowhere in the picture, then you know you're not below the string. I cannot stress how important it is that you need to have one of these, or make one on your own or get somebody to make one for you, because a lot of Eruvin have been found puzzle because the lechi on the bottom was not properly lined up with the electrical cable or with the string that was above it, and people were using other ways of trying to measure it and they were wrong. So again, please, if you're in charge of an Eruv or you know the person who is, make sure he's using one of these. Chazal teach us that if you have a slope which rises 10 tefachim within Daled Amos, then that slope is considered a mechitza. Mathematically, that's around 25 degrees, just so you should know. This is a giant protractor, okay? This is exactly Daled Amos. Here, this is Daled Amos according to the sheet of the Chaznish. And here we have a peles, here we have levels to let me know when this is straight. When I'm straight over here and we're level, then this is a slope of Daled Amos and rises to a height of 10 tefachim. According to the sheet of the Chaznish, 25 degrees doesn't matter how you hold because the proportion is the same. Okay, so now practically when you're dealing with a Talmid Mislaki and actually measuring b'shetach, you do not want to rely on this. Why? A Talmid Mislaki changes, nature changes, rain falls, slopes change, rocks fall. There's, you need, you can't rely on something which is exactly 25 degrees, which next year after the winter might turn to 24 degrees and your Eruv is no longer kosher. So therefore there's another reading here, which is 35 degrees from here to here, okay? This shows you a reading of 35 degrees, right? Up until here is 10 tefachim high. 10 tefachim high rises to a height of 10 tefachim with less than Daled Amos now, because now we're 35 degrees. That's a little bit more reliable. You're not going to be afraid that that's going to change within one winter. But again, with the Talmid Mislaki, you have to use your seichel. You have to figure out what's going to change because trackers decide to dump dirt over a hill, or because of construction, or because of rain. You're going to have to use your common sense whether or not you want to rely on it or not, unless it's very long and very steep, and then you could definitely rely on it without a problem. Sometimes you'll need something a little bit smaller when you measure a Talmid Mislaki. This is a smaller 25-degree angle. This is actually Dalet Tefachim long, according to Reb Chaim Noah. There's certain halachic reasons why I want to measure every Dalet Tefachim of the Talmid Mislaki. We won't get into that now. But whenever you need to measure something a little bit smaller, then you don't need the giant protractor. Then you can use this and measure your 25 degrees. And once again, don't be mitzamsein. Don't make it exact. You want it to be not exactly 25 degrees because you can't rely on that. It's going to have to be nicely more, so you have what to rely on from year to year. Okay, so like you see, sometimes the edge of the Eruv and the border of the Eruv is an actual cliff or some sort of slope or mountain, and that's why we use this. And we measure if the angle really is properly 25 degrees or more, and at what point. That's how you measure it. And as long as it's more than 25 degrees, then you know you have a kosher mechitza. If it's less than that, if it's less than 25 degrees, then it's nothing. It's just regular floor, and it's not kosher for the Eruv.
Here. Rabbi Isai, tomorrow morning, Psachim Dav Beis. Join us, and we'll make a Siyum Be'ezer Hashem right before Pesach with a better understanding of all Hilchas Pesach, Matzah, Maror, B'dikas Chometz, Vigata Levincha. Come join us tomorrow morning. Thank you for joining. Be'ezer Hashem, B'Yerushalayim Abnuyah.
Reb Eli, Reb Heilige Reb Eli. My name is Moshe Katz and I'm reaching out to you. David Mechlevitz gave me your number. So I'm just filming a very short film from my house. I did the video with Gigi and Avram Schwartz and Bernard David today. I built the Eruv here in Manchester on Gigi's instruction, and it's something that is a very passionate vocation of mine. I look after the Eruv here and I manage it every week, and I build other Eruvs in England. But just on a personal level, I'm not sure if you know the song of Doiv Be'er, Heilige Reb Doiv Be'er, You Mamash Saved My Life. So I'm just going to say it for you. Reb Eli, Heilige Reb Eli, You Mamash saved my life. You Mamash saved my life. I have to tell you that when we started Brochus, in this cycle, it's my first cycle to do the daf, and I was absolutely terrified to start and terrified of the commitment. And somebody very shortly after the beginning introduced me to your shir, and you would never know this, but I listen to your shir every single day, and plus the 8-minute review, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And it's because of you that I do the daf. So you're very, very, very special for me, and I'm ever so grateful for what you do, from not only for me, but for everyone who listens to your shir. It's so engaging, it's so exciting, it's so funny, it's so clever. Just everything about it is absolutely brilliant. And you did save my life, because of you, I'm now learning the daf, and I'm forever grateful.
There were a few points in the history of the Jewish community of West Rogers Park that defined the future of the Jewish community. In the end of December of 1992, Shabbos Hanukkah, the Eruv for West Rogers Park became operational. Having an Eruv in a Jewish community was essential to being able to attract young Jewish families with little children. 1 year before, there was an Eruv established in Skokie, and people were waiting to see, and they weren't going to wait too long, whether West Rogers Park would be able to have an Eruv or if they'd be looking to move out of the community. The establishment of the West Rogers Park Eruv took a lot of people doing a lot of work. It was not without controversy, but it changed the future of the Jewish community in West Rogers Park. 1992, Alderman Bernie Stone backed all of the legislation we needed from the city, and he got the city council to amend the zoning ordinance to allow Jewish families in West Rogers Park to put large additions on the existing home stock, back-end additions on 3-bedroom Georgians, popping the roofs on raised ranches. He saw that if he changed the zoning ordinance, and anybody in the city could use the benefit of that zoning change, families who had 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 kids would not have to look elsewhere for housing. Larger Jewish families were enticed to be able to stay, to add on, to invest in the community.
And those people that are downsizing their homes, many have sold their homes to younger families and moved into Winston Towers. So we're managed to keep our people in the neighborhood.